Hi, it's Donna here. Thanks for joining me today. I have no idea what I really want to do today. I just fancied using paint and having a little bit of fun, doing a little bit of mixed media. As you can see on my glass mat, I have taped out 8 sections. So I just roundabout made them the same size-ish. I didn't get too bothered about it. They're about 6 to 7 centimetres by 10 to 11 centimetres, but that's just going off my A4 piece of paper. And I thought this might be a nice size for like a journaling card or something that I could use as like an art trading card, something like that. So as I said, I have no plan. I just know that I want to use paint. So next to me, I have my roller, which is a really messy, crusty one. It's one that I use on my gel plate. I've got a palette. I have a few things for making marks and applying paint with. I've got a heat tool, and then I've just got lots of acrylic and gessos and things like that. I also have a bowl of snacks next to me, some nice raspberries and yogurt. So I think it's about time to get started. I did forget to say that this is a mixed media paper, just a cheap one, nothing special. So any mixed media paper or watercolour paper you have should be suitable for this. I'm going to go in first with some white gesso. I was going to use white acrylic, but I've just lost it, which is strange because I've literally just seen it, but it's gone. So I'm going to do a quick layer of gesso, and I think the easiest way is to pour a bit out. This is the Winsor & Newton one. Pour a bit out and then, whoops, it's probably too much. I'm probably just going to scrape it like this. Scrape a bit off, I can use that later. I'm using this really just to give myself a little bit of a base to do other things on, and let's give it some texture as well. And as I said, no idea what these are going to become. I just wanted to spend some time with paint, really. Before that completely dries, I'm just going to put a bit of this ivory in with it and mix it a little bit. And also a little bit of this peach pink. And then I'm going to use my heat tool to dry that off. And I quite fancy going along the blue route today. So I'm going to go in with the lightest colour first. And use my brayer. These paints by the Do Craft paints, the Artiste ones, I do find are quite thin, so they're ideal for layering because they're not completely opaque. And then without drying that, I think I will go in with the next one, which is by Paper Artsy Fresco Finish Chalk Acrylic Desert Bush. And I'm not going to go quite as heavy with this because it's opaque. And I think what I will do is use one of these and see if I can just drag it through. Make some interesting patterns. And you can see there it's actually scraping through the blue as well, which is quite interesting. It's quite a nice effect. Let's pop a little bit more of this on. Oops. I'm going to dry that because I want to put a slightly lighter blue over the top and I don't want those to mix together. So for this blue, I want to actually stencil. I've got a selection of things here. I only want it very light because I want it to be in the background. So I'm just going to use a very minimal amount of paint for this. So the idea is, and I'm just going to put it straight over the grid and then just do bits and bobs and then move it along and then do some more. So I have actually dug out one of these blending brushes because I saw somebody else, and I can't remember the name of the channel, actually using one of these to actually apply the paint to the stencil. I usually use a sponge, but I thought I would give this a go. So my palette is just here, and I'm going to put a very small amount on. This may not be the best paint because, as I was saying, it is quite runny. But if I go easy and just take a small amount, and just take it like that. Let's see what happens. Okay, that works. So let's pop one. Pop one here. Okay. I'm going to move the palette just to one side because it's going to get noisy otherwise. But it's just to my side. As I said, I don't want this to be really bright. I don't want it to be in your face because it's just in the background. Just want a little something. So I'm going to switch and I'm going to go to this stencil here. I got this stencil in a charity shop. I think it was about 50 pence. So that looks like a lot of blue, but remember the tape is down here, so that will be like that. So nothing to worry about there. Oh, we haven't put any on here. Let's put a little bit of this one on. Okay. I think I'm going to leave this one. I don't think there's much need for it. So next I want to do some stamping. I've pulled out 2 little ones here that just add really nice texture. I've also got my favourite one here by Stampers Anonymous, which is just like a script. And I'm going to be using the Jet Black Archival ink by Ranger because it's permanent and waterproof. And obviously I've used wet medium on here already, and I'm not sure what I'm going to put on top, so it just makes sense to use something waterproof. And I'm just going to be, I think these might be numbers, like a chart. So I'm not even thinking about where I'm putting it. I'm going to do some shadow stamping. Just pop a few down. Then I will use the script one. I also as well take them, I'm going to take them over the actual tape as well. And one of my more recent Heidi Swap Stamp Society stamp sets was this one, which has got loads of different texture stamps on it. Thinking about it, I could have just used this set on its own, but I'm liking all this stitching detail and I'm liking this up here. So I'm going to see what I can do with these. I'm going to use this one first. I've got it on a little block here. I'm thinking it'd be quite nice. Like that. Give it a little something. It's always hard to tell how things are going to look until the tape comes off. Okay, I'm going to use this one next. And I'm going to make my way through these stamps here, mixing and matching. Okay, so I've left that to dry completely, and next I want to go in with a slightly darker shade of blue again, this time so it's more in the foreground. I am going to use this one from Artist Loft, Prussian Blue. I've got a circle stencil and I also have some little cardboard tubes which I can make circles with. So again, I'm going to pop a little bit of this onto my palette and use this to stencil through. Again, I'm going to work across both grids. don't worry if you get a little bit too much. That can be hidden or pasted over, or you can put something there. So if you're worried that it's gone, it doesn't bother me, but if you are worried that it's gone a little bit gloopy, or you've not quite got the circle shape you wanted, there's always a fix that you can do. Because that's quite a dark colour, I'm going to balance it out with this cerulean blue. This is a gouache, and I am going to use this colour to stamp the tubes. So I'm taking it from the palette and I'm just dabbing it off on some tissue to get rid of any of the gloopy paint. So I don't want too much on there. Also doing some ghost prints as well. So instead of reapplying the paint, I'm just moving it and let's do some slightly larger ones. So these will look like a mess. Things like this always do look like a mess at first. But it all comes all right in the end once we have lifted the tape off and we can see what everything looks like. So, and now we're going to wait for these paints to dry. Okay, so next I feel like we need some texture paste, but I don't want loads. So I've chosen this stencil here. Again, this is one I found in a charity shop, and I'm going to use this to stencil some different shapes onto the areas. I'm going to use Picket Glaze in Velvet Winter Snowfall, and and this is kind of like a texture paste, just like it's got a slight shimmer to it, but nothing too crazy. And it's going to stencil a little bit through here. I'm going to keep it quite flat, I think, because as I said, I don't want loads of, I don't want it to be too standing up from the page, because I want to be able to stick things over it. Let's pop that back on a minute. Okay, you will find, because this is water-based, it may pick up some colour. But that just adds to the texture and to the look of it, so I don't mind. I don't mind it when that happens. So I also have this Distress Spritz in Weathered Wood, which is a really nice blue colour. And Distress Spritz is really nice because you can see through it. It's not completely opaque, so you can see what there is underneath. So I'm going to give it a really good shake. It's got a ball in it, so you just need to shake it until you can hear the ball. And you can see the mica at the bottom there, so you just need to make sure that all that has been picked up. And I'm actually going to take the top off and do it this way because I don't trust myself to spritz it and only get a small amount where I want it. And finally, with a palette knife and some gouache, I'm just going to create some white space. Just to give the pattern some breathing room. So just a few strokes, can be messy. It just breaks up everything we've put down. So I actually can't tell at the moment what's actually on the tape and what's not. So we'll kind of merge into one. But I just like to have some white breathing space. And you can scratch it and scrape it. This needs to dry completely, and then we can take the tape off and we can see what we have underneath. So I think we're just about dry enough now. So I'm going to carefully remove the washi. So it looks like we have to go this way first. The good thing about acrylic is because it's thick, you get a nice neat line. This would be ideal to keep, to use somewhere else. So let's carry on with this one. Again, another good tape. Pop all these tapes at the side. Let's do this one. I am thrilled with how these have turned out. I absolutely love them. And that border around the outside really makes the colours pop. And it's something that could be cut up to be used as individual cards, or it could make a really nice journaling page, or something if you wanted to frame, even to go up onto your wall. It's like a grid collage. So if I have chance, I will do a mock-up of what something like this might look like framed. I will also, if I get chance, take a photo of this page and I will pop it on my Ko-fi as a freebie for you to download. I will confirm at the end of the video whether I have had a chance to do that or not. But yeah, I am absolutely thrilled. And do you know what? It was so therapeutic as well, just to get the paints out and have a play. I have a lot of cleaning up to do and a lot of tidying. I seem to have, whenever I do something like this, half of my craft room seems to come out. I don't know why or how I manage it. And I'm just looking now, I love how the black ink is, it's almost got like a brownie tinge to it. I'm just going to hold it up because some of those, because that texture paste and that spray had a bit of a shimmer to it. So I'm just wondering if you can see that. If I was going to work on some of these individually, I might add some black splatter on some of them, just where there's some empty space. Another possibility would be to add some gold paint or a gold pen and maybe highlight some of the circles, do some mark making, and that might be another option that I go on to do as well. But overall, I've really enjoyed that craft room session and I hope you enjoyed joining me. So thank you very much and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.